Hey, Talmidei Chachamim, how are you? We're back. We're here. We're better than ever. We're on Daf 60, Shishim, Daf Samich. We're on our way to the end of Yoma. Jump on board. My wife, as I mentioned yesterday, my wife asked me what I learned yesterday. So I told her my Chiddush. I said on Daf Nuntet. And part of my Chiddush was that I offered a different explanation in the Gemara than Rashi and Tosfos. She said, how could you say something different than Rashi? How could you argue on Rashi? I said, there's nothing to answer to her. She's a woman. She knows nothing, but she knows enough to know that our Masorah is that you don't argue on a Rishon. You don't argue on Rashi and Tosfos. Maybe unless you can find a Rishon that says like you, but I didn't really find anything. She said, that's why no one's listening to your shiurim, because you're always saying chidushim that are against the Rishonim, against Rashi and Tosfos. Wasn't there a story of, who was it, the Shagas Aryeh? And he said an explanation not like the Rishonim, and a pile of books fell on him, the Rishonim fell on him, and he killed him? I don't know. I don't want that same fate to happen to me, so I also want, really what I want is I want people to listen to my shir, and if that's a deterrent for people not listening to my shir because I say chidushim that are too off the charts, too big of a chiddush. She said that's your Yetzer Hara. Yetzer Hara is telling you, because I said I enjoy saying chidushim. She said that's your Yetzer Hara. Yetzer Hara always gets you the things you enjoy. So I'm going to listen to my wife for now, and I'm going to try, instead of arguing with a Rishon, today I'm going to argue with an Achron. And we'll see what we can do. Hopefully I'll be able to tame myself and only argue on Achronim, not on Rishonim. And if I do argue on a Rishon, I have to find a Rishon that says like me. As I said, we'll say my Chidushim from previous year that argue on Rishonim, we'll call them Lulei Sorascha, Lulei Divrei Rashi. If it were not for Rashi, I would say this. Now that Rashi says it, of course you can't say it. So the Gemara on Daf Samich, an Aleph, has a Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Kol Ma'aseh Yom Kippurim Ma'amar Al Seder Im Hikti Ma'aseh L'Chaver Lo Asa Klum. Any part of the Avodah on Yom Kippur, the Gemara is going to say, we're talking about done with the Big Day Lavan, or whether the Big Day Lavan B'chutz is a machlokes. But if done Big Day Lavan, you have to do it in order. If you do it out of order, so you have to do it over. You have to start over again. For example, that if you were sprinkling the blood and the blood spilled, you have to shach the animal again, and then bring the blood again into the Kodesh HaKadoshim and sprinkle it. The Gemara on Samech Hamid Beis quotes Machlokes, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia on the top. There's a pasuk that says we know that normally all the Ma'aseh Yom Kippurim it has to go in order, but there are exceptions to this. So Rabbi Yehuda says, Hainu time with Rabbi Yehuda, the fourth line, Ksiv Zos Ksiv Achas, Chal Demute Big Lavim Bachutz, Chal Demute Big Zav. Avodas that were done in Big Day Lavan Bachutz, or avodas were done in Big Day Zav, those you could do out of order. From Nechemia, Chal Demute Big Day Zav, Chal Demute Shirayim Delo Ma'akvi. Reb Nechemia argues, and he says that Big Day Lavan Mibachutz have to be done in order. The two exemptions in the pasuk is one Big Day Zav, and also a new halacha, Shirayim is not Ma'akviv. So what does that mean, Shirayim lo Ma'akviv? Lemute Shirayim. Rashi says, of course we're going to read Rashi, Shvicha Shirayim de lo Ma'akviv, davar ma'uchar lahem. Hikdimu lahem, al pi she'inasin the Big Day Lavan, ein sidran Ma'akiv. He says that if you do the Shirayim, if you do it out of order, if you do the Shirayim, Shvicha Shirayim de lo Ma'akviv, davar ma'uchar lahem, hikdimu lahem, if you did something before the Shirayim, you're supposed to do the Shirayim, and you did an avodah that's supposed to be after them, you did it before them, so it doesn't interrupt your Shvichas Damim al Yisod, we said on Yisod Ma'aravi, that we said yesterday. You pour the blood on Yisod Ma'aravi. So, Shirayim go out of order, so that's not a problem. So, that's the explanation Rashi gives for Lamute Shirayim de Ma'akviv. If you went out of order, it's not Ma'akiv. The Gemara then continues. And what would Rabbi Yehuda say? What Rabbi Yehuda would say, he says that it since big day lavan b'chutz, so therefore he holds big day lavan b'chutz, it would be ma'akiv. The shirayim would be ma'akiv. If you did it out of order, there's something before the shirayim, it would passel the shirayim, the shvichas dam. The Gemara then brings a brayso. The sign of v'chilim mechaper as a kodesh, im kiper kala, v'im lo kiper lo kala. Rabbi Akiva. Akiva says if you did all the applications of blood in the right way, so then good. If not, not. Why does it have a double lashon? He says something different. And the Gemara says, what's the machlokas in Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yehuda? One holds there is no halachic nafkamina between them. Another explanation is that the nafkamina between them is whether shirayim or ma'akiv. So what does this mean? The machlokes between them, between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yehuda, is shirayim is ma'akiv. Now, they have a quote from the Aleph here, Hagos meharav Ranshborg. I don't know who Rav Ranshborg is. Obviously, he was a famous rabbi. He got quoted on the side of the Gemara. I think a lot of times he's on the side of the Gemara. I'm not on the side of the Gemara. I'm on YouTube, so it's not equivalent. But I'm going to argue on him because he's an Achron, as far as I know. He wants to say over here that according to the first lashon, that Mashmos Darshan, they really have no halachic nafkamina. He says both Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yehuda would hold shirayim or not ma'akiv. Now, it's very problematic because we just said before, according to we had a machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia, and Rabbi Yehuda was the opinion that it's bigly love machutz and shirayim is ma'akiv. So how could he say in this lashon over here that shirayim is not ma'akiv according to Rabbi Yehuda? It must be therefore that really both in this first lashon, both Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Akiva would hold shirayim are ma'akiv. Then the Gemara says, "Mi amar Rabbi Yochanan hachiv amar Rabbi Yochanan tanar Menachem Gdivrei Omer shirayim ma'akiv kasha." The Gemara says Rabbi Yochanan, who taught the previous teaching, this whole daf has pretty much been Rabbi Yochanan. He said it in a different place that Rabbi Nechemia holds shirayim is ma'akiv, and we just said before in the top of the daf that according to Rabbi Nechemia, chad lemute shirayim delo ma'akiv, shirayim are not ma'akiv. It's a kasha. So as our school says, kasha means it's possible to resolve it. It's a question. It's a difficult question. It's possible to resolve it. What is the resolution to this question? Is there a resolution to this question? So I want to say, based on Rashi, I'm going to base our chiddush on Rashi. Rashi is the foundation for the chiddush, not me taking apart Rashi. No, Rashi is the foundation for my chiddush. It comes from Rashi. Shirayim ma'akvi ika v'nai. Rashi says, Rabbi Akiva said, Shirayim lo ma'akvi v'hachi kamer im kafar ikar amatanos kala afilu lo shavach shirayim. Rabbi Akiva said, ma'akvi v'hachi amar im kala kol as keeper im lo keeper hakol ena kapara shal matanos kapara. There's two different meanings in Shirayim ma'akvi and Shirayim lo ma'akvi. According to Rashi, he's learning the machlokes between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yehuda over here has nothing to do with the first machlokes, Rabbi Nechemia and Rabbi Yehuda. It's an entirely different machlokes. The machlokes is whether shirayim, pouring the blood on the Yesod Ma'arav Yisham Mizbeach, is that ma'akiv or not. Not if you do that out of order. If you do it before, if you do something else before it. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about whether just the whole act, do you need to do it or not? Is it ma'akiv or not? So that could be the resolution to the question. You can resolve the question like this. That in the first machlokes, Rabbi Nechemia says, argues on Rabbi Yehuda, he says, shirayim is lo ma'akiv. He says, if you do it out of order, but you still did the shirayim afterwards, then it's not ma'akiv. But when Rabbi Nechemia says shirayim is ma'akiv, hold, you have to at least do the shirayim. You have to pour the blood on the Yisod Ma'arav Yisham Mizbeach. If you do it out of order, that's not a problem. But you have to at least do it. And with that, we can understand that there's two different explanations in shirayim ma'akiv, shirayim lo ma'akiv. And it's all based on Rashi. So I'm good with my wife. I'm good with the Gemara. Ranshberg's angry at me. Have a nice day. I'll see you tomorrow.